Hey y'all, welcome back to the Outdoors Inn.
So there are like 5 different pools and you have to be quiet. This is a relaxation zone.
So we drove west for sunshine.
In this video, we want to talk about going west. Overall, we spent 9 weeks on the road going from Dallas to California and back. We stayed in 13 different campsites in about as many cities, and we drove 3,400 miles going through deserts, mountains, and oceanside.
What are y'all doing over here?
Adam said he was gonna get this.
Money don't come easy, so most of us are chained to being busy till we can earn a little peace of mind. What does it mean to be free in this American dream? Oh, help me believe.
We're going to the San Diego Zoo.
That's all it's supposed to be.
Stickers! We do officially have stickers. We've got a nice little, neon sign sticker here. And then we've got the OG script writing. They're a little bit small. We're thinking we're gonna go one size up on these, but we really like them. If you want your very own Outdoors Inn sticker before our store opens up, you can go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter and then just email us a good address to ship these to if you want us to ship one to your house. But it's July 9th, so we're going to send stickers to anyone who emails us asking for one for the next 30 days. So we'll stop on August 9th. We'll just check and make sure that you're subscribed to our newsletter and then ship one off if you want it. So that's it, just a fun little announcement for you here at the beginning, but let's get to the cost of going west.
So today we're going to talk about things you'd want to think about if you're planning a big trip like this.
We're going to talk about things like route planning, fuel, how much we use and the cost of it, and then places we stayed and sort of practical costs around all of that. Spoiler alert, it was a lot more expensive than we anticipated for some reason. Actually, we kind of know why, so we'll get to that. But route planning, so let's start with that. It's okay, I decided I want to go to California. Now, what do I do about actually getting there? Where are the places we want to stop along the way, the experiences we want to have? It's really just simply put, thinking ahead about how I'm going to get where I'm going before filling up, hitching up, loading up, and hitting the road.
Right. Yeah.
We did not do that.
No.
This feels a lot like when we went to Michigan. We just got in the truck, we said we're going to Michigan, had zero plans beyond that. That's exactly what we're doing right now. We are heading west, so we're going one of these directions.
Well, this direction.
This direction. Oh, the whole time?
I mean, essentially,
going
yeah.
west right now?
Yeah, we're on.
So we're going this
20
direction
west.
for a lot of miles, and
Yeah.
that's the plan. So I think we had this romanticized idea of just going west, that we were going to be able to find camping. And I know that you guys warned us, and you told us that we were not going to be able to find camping. But I guess we just had to learn the hard way. So
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted to just bring up route planning, just simply putting forethought into your trip and then booking campsites ahead of time, is because if you don't do that and you're doing something like going west during snowbird season, it just heavily impacts your experience, like where you actually get to stay and if you get to do what you hope to do on a trip like that, and then cost. So you end up in a lot of have-tos, not want-tos. And for us, that heavily impacted our budget. And so we'll get to kind of our stays and that sort of thing. But now you're thinking you've got, 3,400 miles round trip ahead of you. How much is that going to cost in fuel?
Right.
So let's get to that.
Let's get to the cost of the fuel. So, like I said, we drove a whopping 3,400 miles, and that's just our route, right? That doesn't take into account what we drove
In town like
and while we were there, right? But the cities we went to, they were obviously Dallas, Las Cruces, Silver City, that's New Mexico, Camp Verde, which is Arizona, Las Vegas.
Well, Tucson and then up to Camp Verde, but yeah.
Yeah. And then, so Las Vegas, Lake Havasu, which is Arizona, and then Malibu, San Diego, and then back to Dallas.
this is kind of just when gas prices were starting to spike, and we were headed to California.
Yeah.
So
we were just kind of like holding our breath as we crossed each state line.
Yeah,
and got closer to California.
And it got higher and higher. And then you did have a tool though that you used to try to find at least best case scenario for the area.
Yeah, and I mentioned it on one of the videos, but we used Gas Buddy, and that's just a reference for where can you find the cheapest gas in that area.
And it's like reported, like you can say, I got gas here and it was this much. And so it's kind of like a self-reported thing to help other people find the cheapest gas.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, actually, something that James did was fill up just as much as he had to get out of California into Arizona, because we were hoping, and we were right, that the gas price would drop, like the fuel cost would drop by like $1.
Right.
And so,
yeah, I put like $60 in, and honestly, I could have saved like $5 more, because by the time I got to Arizona, I had 50 miles left.
Let's cross Arizona and check it out.
Oh, 454. That's for regular unleaded.
Oh, okay.
But that would mean that it's about maybe close to $5. So yeah, about $1. Oh yeah, 481 for diesel.
Hey!
Woo-hoo!
Ooh, ooh. We'll see. So 3,400 miles, all the 13 different cities. Using Gas Buddy, how much did we spend on gas?
We spent, over the course of 9 weeks, all of the driving that we did, $2,159 on fuel.
That hurts.
Yeah, there are ways to wrap fuel up. There are ways we could have saved, of course. I think in the near future, we do want to look into
like a gas card.
Yeah, some gas cards,
yes,
and see what kind of programs we can find to just save a little bit.
And so if you guys actually know of any or recommend any in particular, let us know for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on. That hurts, and it is what it is, but let's move on to where we stayed. And this kind of goes back to route planning when we mentioned if you don't do it, it really impacts potentially your experience on your trip, and because you do a lot of have-tos, not want-tos, and then your budget. And so what I mean by that is James and I love to do state park camping. Really a nice open spot with some trees. You know, typically there, you know, sometimes there's full hookups, but not always, you know. But it's really about the space and the environment and sort of how it feels to be outside in a state park, to camp in a state park. But all of the state parks, like west of Dallas, were booked up completely.
Yes.
The time of year that we went, which was like February 7th or something like that, February 11th or something is when we hit the road from Dallas. So, for example, when we got to Arizona, we thought, great, let's keep chasing warmer weather. Let's stay in Tucson overnight. We get to Tucson. At this point, it was President's Day weekend. And there was nowhere to stay overnight in Tucson. And I got on the phone with someone from the State Park Service, and she was actually searching the database for any place to stay for one night at an Arizona state park. Yeah. And she said there were none.
Yeah.
So
long story short, there was not any availability at a state park.
So then we ended up having to drive 3 more hours north that day just to find a campground that was open, which is how we ended up in Camp Verde. So we did a have to, not a want to. It cost us more in time, stress, gas, or fuel, and then So
and the cost of staying there, like it would have been a lot cheaper to stay at a state park.
Yeah, we ended up in an
versus
RV
Verde
resort.
Ranch.
Right.
That was a massive RV resort. It was nice, but we would have preferred a state park.
Right, and in budget.
Yes.
So, and then another example when you go, so just right now for fun, look in California at the state park system and see if you can find a night to stay, like for tonight, or even forecast out, like how far can I go before I actually see somewhere that I can sleep at a state park.
Yeah.
The only state park experience we had in California is the one night we slept in the parking lot.
Yes.
Because we couldn't find anywhere to stay, and we didn't want to illegally park.
And of course, you know, they didn't have campgrounds, but they allowed us to pay $45.
$45.
No electricity, no water.
Nothing to
no
sleep in a
hookups.
parking lot.
It was parking lot.
Don't get us wrong, we were like, cool, safe place to stay that's legal, and like we're not gonna get a ticket our first night in California, but like, ouch.
Yeah.
So plan ahead, decide, okay, maybe you like RV parks, great, but you're probably going to plan out your budget. Some of them are much more expensive than others. Some of them have a ton more amenities than others. We stayed in one that we ended up liking, you know, in San Diego called Sun Outdoors. But it was, you know, kind of like a have to, and it totally blew our budget. And like,
Right.
I mean, I am terrified to tell you what we spent on camping.
Yes.
Camping.
Yes, the Sun Outdoors campground in San Diego is a beautiful campground. It's great for families. It's great for anybody. It's just premium.
Yeah.
It's premium.
But it was all there was.
Yeah.
And so we were like, all right, we're here.
Yeah.
Drove all this way. I mean, what are you gonna do? So,
Right. But before we get to the cost,
Yeah.
I want to mention a couple things. You know, Harvest Host is something that we love, and so we stopped at one in Las Cruces, where you saw we were at a winery, and
We met Randy.
Randy, where we toured
his chili factory.
Yes, and then the other one, which we really loved, was on our way back, Little Anthony's Diner. Just a super cool feel. Both times we got to meet the owner.
We met Tony there.
And so the experiences at the Harvest Host were just
Great.
they were great.
Really fun.
Yeah.
And that one books up. That, you know, Little Anthony's Diner books up. Okay, but there was one RV park that we really, really, really liked, and that makes our top 3 list of places that we stayed when we went west and back.
Yes.
So we really liked the RV park in Malibu.
Yes.
There's one. It's on like a bluff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, right on the highway. What is it called? The 1 or something?
Yeah, Highway 1.
Yeah, and so I mean, it was beautiful and it was really nice, and like there was nothing too spruced up about it. It was just that, you know, you have full hookups and you're on a bluff overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
Yes. And for the view and the, you know, the overall site, I think the price is fair. It's definitely, you know, high.
What was it, like $80 a night?
No, I think it was $90.
$90
Yeah, I think we paid about $90 a night. So it's high, but fair.
It was worth it. That one I would say, like, I would plan ahead to
Yes.
stay there and pay that
Absolutely.
rate to be on a bluff.
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
overlooking the ocean for sure. No regrets on that.
No.
Beautiful. Probably our favorite one, just
Right.
for the scenery. And then there was like different places to hike around. We were able to go to the beach whenever we were there. We had some really good food over in that area.
Yes.
The downtown is really cute, so it just feels like it just feels quieter and like slower paced than other cities in California that we visited. And we
Right.
just really enjoyed that sort of window that we spent in Malibu.
Right. Yep. Any other favorites?
Favorites?
Yeah.
Elephant Butte State Park.
Oh.
Yes. So, as you guys know, we thought we were just going to do a little stopover in New Mexico and keep heading west, but we got stuck in New Mexico on purpose. Like, we chose to stay in New
Yes.
Mexico for like at least a week and a half, if not 2 of the weeks. I can't
Right.
remember exactly, but
I think it was close to 2 weeks.
yeah, because we loved Elephant Butte State Park.
It is beautiful. I mean, you just look all around. You have 360 views of mountains. There's a lake over here that we have backed into the view. We really enjoyed it. It's just a little gem that it's super quiet out here. I mean, you're not close to any city. The moon is extremely bright at night. The people are just out here enjoying their time. And honestly, like when you talk, you feel like you could be disturbing the peace because it's just so nice and quiet and peaceful here. All of that, and it was $9 a night.
And it was
$9.
really cool. But what's cool is these campsites are kind of positioned in different places. So you drive up, you pick your site, you pay for it online, or I think they have a box too that you can drop and pay. But it's just like you could have a different vantage point. Okay, one more favorite.
Okay, one more favorite. This isn't a campground necessarily, but the place was San Diego. We loved being in San Diego.
Yeah, so I mean, what you're hearing is this was super expensive, but we did not regret it because what we regretted is our lack of planning that hurt our budget and kind of our experience. But man, San Diego was beautiful. We got to go to the San Diego Zoo.
Yes.
We went to the Bay. We went to the Del Coronado. We went to the beach.
We went to a concert.
A country concert in California. We went to La Jolla.
Ooh.
Good food.
Do
really
not
good food.
skip La Jolla.
Don't skip La Jolla. So So we walked 1.3 miles over to La Jolla Shores Beach, and it's called the Coastal Walk, and it's really pretty, it's really scenic, and there's just tons of flowers and different kinds of plants all around. There's some like really cool houses you walk by and you're like, who lives there?
Yeah,
Good for you, man. But really it's just this beautiful view of the ocean here in La Jolla on the way to get a kayak. So we did the kayaks, we saw some sea lions, tons of brown pelican.
Also, I've heard I think it's in December, there are these tiger sharks or leopard. Sorry, not tiger shark. A leopard shark. They're harmless to people, and you can go, there are hundreds, maybe thousands, that you can literally go in the bay in La Jolla and swim with them.
Would you like to swim with sharks? Me too.
Yeah. I think that would be incredible.
Okay. I'm just so sad that we weren't there for that.
I bet you are.
Yeah, so those are our favorites, but now let's just quit kind of beating around the bush here.
Yeah.
How
Let's
much
get down to the dirty details.
For 9 weeks of camping.
Drum roll, please. We paid $4,227 for lodging. I'm very embarrassed to say that.
We are, but we just decided we're going to tell you anyways.
Yeah.
Don't not route plan. However, I had a however. But I don't think there's any excuses actually. You know, I think we might as well have just shredded money. No. I think we might as well have just put all of that toward like a Caribbean vacation or something.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like,
we should have just parked the Airstream and
left
bought
the dog somewhere.
a plane ticket and just went
to the
and just stayed on a beach in an all-inclusive resort.
Sipped coconuts.
Yeah.
That's probably what we could have done with that.
I mean, maybe not for 9 weeks. We could have done
not for 9 weeks, yeah. But ouch, there it is. There you go. Food. We are not going to tell you what we spent on.
No. And that's one thing where it's like it's your personal choice of, you know, are you going to go out to eat? Are you going to buy groceries? You're going to mix in a little bit of both. You know, you're going to plan and budget that on your own.
Yeah, and like we'll say it was expensive. Like going to the grocery store was expensive.
Yeah.
Eating out was like 3 times as expensive. It hurt. Like every time you eat out, but the food was really good. So we didn't do much eating out pretty much from Dallas to California. But once we hit California, it was like there was really good food.
Yes.
And good wine. If you like wine, like the red wine was really good.
And we weren't even up in like the Napa Valley area.
Weren't even.
But, you're in California where they have access to good wine and good fresh food.
Where they
too.
make good wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they make fresh food. But yeah, so that stereotype of just like go little Cali cuisine held out for us.
Yes.
It was good. Do we regret going to California and just kind of heading west and experiencing that? No, I don't think so. What we regret is not putting the forethought into route planning and then booking ahead. So if you know you want to go to California during the season, whenever it's cold everywhere else, and you're kind of thinking maybe I'll head west to California, plan that ahead of time.
Yeah.
Book the places you want to stay in the budget you want to be in. We really do regret that we didn't get to stay in California state parks because we heard so much about them.
Yeah.
And it's just a real bummer that this go around, you know, we didn't have the opportunity to experience that. I think we would have really loved that versus the RV parks we ended up in.
Right. Granted, for the California state parks, I have heard that it's hard almost any time of the year, and they open it on a certain day. And if you want a spot, you better be up at midnight the day that they open that up for reservations.
That's true.
Yes. And one thing I would say you don't have to plan is your activities, your experiences. If you're like us, we like to keep it a little fluid and not really like feel like we are restricting ourselves by putting too many things in place. However, moving forward, I think I'm gonna try. We'll try to make plans on things we want to do beyond where we want to stay.
We want to start doing more like going to local concerts, sporting events, that sort of thing, and getting kind of a taste of the local flavor there.
Yeah.
So that's stuff that we can sort of plan forward for.
Definitely. Definitely. So learn from our mistakes, but go.
Go.
100% go.
Yep. Happy planning ahead, y'all.
Happy planning.
Ahead.
Ahead. Plan ahead.
Do it.
La la let me be. La la let